Hey everyone, before the video starts, I just wanted to issue a reminder that my 2023 Black Friday sale goes live this upcoming Friday, November 24th, and the sale will be live through the end of November 27th. And during the sale, all of my manifolds will be available for 25% off MSRP. That is the best pricing that I've offered for any of my manifolds in any sale. So be sure to check that out. The website is listed in the description below, and I will issue a reminder later on this week, and also the coupon code. So be sure to keep an eye out for that if you are in the market for a manifold for a 2JZ, a Neon SRT4, or an Evo 10. So let's go ahead and get to the video now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So the intro montage, obviously I got a bit more work done on this structure, and the whole outside is now sheathed in the brick paneling, and this is actually a pretty cool paneling where if you look along this edge right here, it actually has kind of the texture and contour of a real brick wall without having to do actual masonry work. So the whole outside is sheathed. The whole inside is now finished sheathed. It's the whole way up to the ceilings in both the fab room here and the welding room over here. So looks pretty nice. And I'll come in where some of the panels don't match up the best and fill the voids in with black caulking, but that won't be right now as we're in the middle, or I'm in the middle of knocking out the next stage of this build. So what is that next stage, you may ask? The next stage is the ceiling. And what I have opted to do is come in and plank the ceiling, which I need to pull that wire back through. But I got this whole load over here of 1x12s. You can see my stack of them right there. And rather than doing sheetrock or drywall, or putting additional panels up or anything like that, I thought that kind of a cool way to do this would be to actually plank, and this is just the initial planking right here. And I'll get all of these put up, drill the holes in for the lights, get all of that squared away, and then I'll stain these ceiling planks kind of the average of all the different shades of the wall panels. And that way the ceiling will kind of match the wall panels, and I think everything will look cool that way. So you can see kind of my hoisting apparatus. I have my medium-sized ladder with a little fixture I built on the top side there to hold that side of the plank. And then on this side of the plank, I'm putting it in this little tray on the top of this ladder, fastening it in, and then working my way down that way. So it's a fairly effective way to do it, or at least it has been so far. And I have these nice little stainless trim screws that I'm using to fasten, all these planks to the ceiling. So with this planking, the first thing that needs to be done is the plank itself needs to be cut down to size. So I've been cutting all of these to 129 1/4 inches, and that seems to be a pretty good length for them. So that way they fit in place easily without having to do too much trimming and finessing to get everything into place. So pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. Tape measure, start from one end, measure out to the other, mark 129 1/4. In this case, mark that twice, draw a straight line, then come in with a circular saw, cut the excess off, and then I'm ready to put the plank in its place. Now that the plank is cut, I need to get it up onto the ceiling. So the easiest way that I've found to do this is make a little 2-ladder apparatus that you guys saw in the little time lapse earlier. And that's just a couple pieces of 2x8 that are screwed together and then clamped to the top of this ladder to get this side of the plank as close to the ceiling as I can get it. And then the little step stool ladder deal over here, that is what I'm actually climbing up on to get the first fasteners put in place. So we're working in this void right here, right now. So if I scoot this back a little bit, I can move this ladder over into its location. Something like that should be more than sufficient. Get the ladder to sit squarely. And now I can come in and look at this piece, see if there are any portions of it that I don't like, and put that side facing upwards so I won't see it. And then slide everything into place. And I'm ready to go up and start fastening this in place now. So with our board on the 2 ladders, it's now time to get it put into place. So in order to do this, I'm using both my little impact with the Torx bit that corresponds to my fasteners, as well as an 1/8 inch drill bit to pilot the holes. And the reason I'm piloting them is just trying to drive a screw through this piece of wood, it has the propensity to split. As opposed to drilling a pilot hole, it gives the screw somewhere to go without trying to move the wood out of the way, if that makes sense. So from here, it's pretty self-explanatory. And what I'm doing is just kind of eyeballing this and matching it up to the bottom of the joists. And then I will prep by getting a screw out, hold the screw in my mouth, and drill the first hole, get the screw put in place, and then work my way that direction. Alright, with the first screw put into place, and I'll just put one in initially so that way the piece can pivot if it needs to, I can come up this ladder and find where the bottom side of a bit of my blocking is, and I'll screw it in there so it's kind of in the middle. I'm not trying to reach over to that wall over there to drill a pilot hole and everything else. So come up this ladder and slides right into place. And I'll just kind of look along and make sure that I'm matching up to the bottom of my joists where I want to be. And once everything is good there, then I can come in, drill a pilot hole. Start the screw in the hole, and get my impact. Let it home, and now this will pretty much hold itself, but I'll come along the same, or in the bottom of the same piece of blocking. put a second screw in. There, that is fastened pretty well to the bottom of the joist here. And at this point in time, move back to the other ladder. And this is just a big dancing game between ladder to ladder, so on and so forth. So you will get a leg workout doing this. But I'll get this other corner screwed in over here. Now that that corner is secured, come over, move my taller ladder out of the way, as it's a little bit easier to use the little giant ladder to get all of this fastened down. And then if you guys didn't notice earlier in this video, I came in and put all of this blocking in place down the centers and on either one of the sides. And the purpose of this blocking is these 1x12s are a little bit too narrow to grab the bottom of the joists by themselves. So this blocking is here just as a point, or just as a place where I can screw into and secure these things without trying to go at an angle or anything screwy that way in getting these panels put in place. So from here, I'll drill 6 holes to fasten this plank on either side of the bottoms of this joist. Then move down to this side over here, get that fastened into place, move on to the next board. And then finally, since the center of this is fastened down, move over to this side, put 4 additional screws in to fasten that side down, and then this plank is all put in place, and I'm ready to move on to the next one. Although I did not film a whole lot of this process, the ceiling planking is wrapped up, or at least the beginning of it is. So this is the welding room. I just finished this up and everything went up nicely. And I'll come in each of these gaps between panels, and where the panel, or where the plank rather, meets the joist, or from this vantage point would be the rafter, I'll run a bead of black silicone along either side of it. So using this, for example, some on this side, some on this side. I'll come through and smear it, and I think that will look pretty cool. And I kind of like the aesthetic of having a gap between the panels, and I think having a little bit of a dished black silicone mark or line or whatever will be pretty cool when everything is said and done. So now that all of these panels are up, and the reason why I have my LED shop light there is we obviously don't have any light in here. And if I shut this light off, wherever the switch may be, it's very dark in here. So the next order of business will be to come in and punch all of the holes in this for where the ceiling lights are going to be located at. So I have a bunch of these. They're flush mount 6-inch LED lights from Lord Bezos. And I think there will be 9 in this welding room, and there will be 15 in the fabrication room. So I have a nice hole saw to knock this out right over here. I have to walk through the maze, but this hole saw right here is the appropriate size for those lights. So all of the transformer boxes are in place already. I have a bunch of these lights. I think I bought way too many of them, but it's better to have too many than too few for something like this. And I'll have some extras if any of them decide to go out, or if I decide to build another structure in the future. Well, it's a nice rainy day today, but huge progress has been made on these new room structures, and I have the ceilings all but wrapped up. So all of the staining is done, and I'll be happy if I never have to overhead stain again. But all of the planks are stained. We're obviously in the fab room right now. And if we move over to the welding room, so I can put my money where my mouth is, the ceilings are completed in here as well. So this was a 3-day process, and it took essentially 2 days to do all of the plank faces, and then a day to come in and do all of the crevices. So everything here is stained, like I said, the faces, and then up into all of these areas, everything's stained, everything is pretty. And the only thing left to do on the ceiling at this point in time is to come in and where the planks meet the bottoms of the joists is to apply a bead of black caulking to all of those, just to seal this up and prevent like wasps or anything like that from going in and making a home between the plank ceiling and the bottom of the subfloor that'll be going on the second level. So caulking, I'm not going to get to that right now as I'm waiting on an electric caulking gun to come in. But what I can work on today is getting the window knocked out, or getting it mounted and all of that. So there's a few steps that need to be taken before I actually fasten it down into place. The window that I have, it has a white frame, which I want to make it a black frame. And I also have some window tint that I'm going to apply to this and more than likely all the other windows in the shop, but we'll focus on this right now. So here's the window that I got. Fairly simple, nothing really too crazy about it. Just 2 panes, a screen, and it slides. So before I tint it, I need to paint it, and I know that it's generally not the easiest thing or the most advisable thing to paint these vinyl window frames, but I'm going to try my best with it, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Well, another small but huge step in the books. The window is now in place, and you can see that I pulled the tint off of it. I've tried to apply tint numerous times before, and I am awful at it. I've tried all different ways. I've tried everything that I know of and everything that I can to do it, and it's just beyond me. So if I decide I actually want this tinted, I'll have somebody come out and do it and knock out, for that matter, that window, and pretty much all the windows in the shop. But it's not going to be me to do it, as I end up spending a fortune on tint that would just end up getting destroyed. But window in place, and it kind of looks like a drive-up window, which was unintentional, but it is what it is. And I think once everything is trimmed, it'll look pretty cool, and all will be well. But I think that will be about the end of this episode. So got some big things accomplished with knocking the ceiling out, getting the window mounted, mounted for that matter, and we'll see how well this paint lasts. I use this Glidden paint over here, Max Flex All Surface, and I bought it specifically because it listed vinyl as one of its compatible materials, so we'll see how well that lasts. But for right now, that is all that I have for you guys, so let's go ahead and wrap this one up. So thank you guys, as always, for coming along on all these different journeys with me, whether we are building a pretty cool plank ceiling, or working on cars, or anything else that we've done in the course of this channel. It's all stuff that I find interesting, all stuff that I'm having fun with, and I hope that you guys are enjoying coming along on all these different adventures with me. Now, I'm having a blast with all of these different projects, and hopefully you guys are the same as I am, where you've learned some things along the way, some to-dos, some not to-dos, and hopefully you're still getting some value out of these videos. But before I drone on any longer, that will be the end of this one. So as always, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Be sure to check out the website for manifolds, for merch, for my upcoming Black Friday sale, which the clock is now ticking down on that. The sale will go live this Friday, November 24th, and run through Monday, the end of Monday, November 27th. And 25% off all of the manifolds that I offer. Everything is in stock and ready to ship. And I guess before we end this off, let's take a look at what is in stock and available for purchase. So we have this guy right here. This is a small Fire Ring GT35, or I guess GT30, 35, and 40R V-band single 60 millimeter Turbo Smart Wastegate 2JZ manifold. We have an SRT4 T4 top mount, flanged for twin 44, 45, 46 millimeter wastegates and T4 twin scroll. We have an Evo 10 factory replacement. We have an SRT4 T4 sidewinder. And then we have 3 of these 2JZ GTE Gen R T4 twin scroll manifolds, and these are my flagship manifolds. So anybody with the 2JZ that wants to make a bunch of power without sacrificing spool time, that is the manifold for you. And if you also don't want to sacrifice aesthetics, as I put a large amount of effort and attention into weld quality, weld detail, all of that. So these are the best 2JZ manifolds, production-wise at least, that I'm able to put out. And I would love for some of you guys to be able to put them on your projects. So any questions, any concerns, or anything like that about Black Friday stuff, or any of those manifolds and products, feel free to send me an email, alex@bpautosports.net. That will be somewhere on the screen now. But all of my blabbering aside, that'll be the end of this one, so I will see you all in the next episode.